All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Awaken to Happiness Now Global Series. Thank you so much for being here with us today. If you're new to me, new to my channel, new to my show, it's my deepest desire, wish, and intention to bring these wonderful speakers here to share their wisdom, their teachings, their experiences, their activations, their transmissions, their healings, etc., so that we can all thrive and we can all expand and evolve in our consciousness, raise our vibration frequency for not just us, but also the planet and humanity and the collective and our wonderful fur babies as well, right? So, so please do, if you're watching on YouTube, please do subscribe, follow, so you can watch all of the current shows, all the previous shows, all the shows coming up. All right, so today my dear friend Cathleena Hailley is back with us, and we're going to be talking about restoring the original soul fragmentation and releasing the imprint of control from the brain and body. All right, so it's going to be a jam-packed call like always. Of course, Cathleena is going to be taking some live caller questions and doing some transmissions like she always does, and we know how powerful they are, right, and can be. So if you don't know Cathleena, she's been on our show many, many times. We love having her. Always a high vibe, always these wonderful transmissions that bring you to the present moment and, for me, anyways, start to create change and transformation. Right. So it is really important to be present here and now in this moment. So Cathleena is an embodiment of the divine feminine who works with the Council of Nine Collective and other ascended masters, and her coding accesses the womb water of an individual's birth so that they are brought back to their original soul expression, creating a rebirth to allow full expression of the soul's imprint. As the lineage of the life architect, her crystalline DNA signature not only carries the frequency of perfect pitch to align to the original human template, birth template, and this universe's template, but continually recalibrates this alignment. And she, having incarnated as an Arcturian, Andromedan, and as a member of the Council of Nine Galactic Collective, Cathleena brings the knowledge of human patterns of existence along with her extensive knowledge and work with interplanetary and galactic portals. So all that and more, we'll talk to Cathleena about her wonderful experiences, who she is, what she does, how she works with energy source creator, the templates, etc. So please join me in welcoming Cathleena back to the show. Cathleena, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Wonderful introduction there, Laura. It's always fun. I was just thinking as you were, reading or giving information about my bio, I should update it because I've learned a lot more about myself over the years from the time I wrote that, which was many years ago. So anyway, yes, but we're going to talk about all sorts of things. So
Exactly, like we always do. And the thing, the thing is, we are all always evolving, right? So all of our, see, there goes my throat, right? As soon as we start doing a show, oh my goodness.
Yes.
So that just means that, you know, energies are flowing, right? As Cathleena is sharing and speaking, etc., she's also transmitting frequencies, etc. And so I, for one, am can get greatly impacted by these energies on these calls. That's why, right as the show starts, my throat starts getting activated, right? And so it's okay. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm perfectly fine. But it is interesting how, everything that we are doing is an expression of source itself, right? And so as we are evolving and expanding, of course, our bio is going to change because our experiences have changed us and allow us to remember more of who we truly are, right? So I always say I'm a work in progress, so what my bio says or said 5 years ago, that was then. It's not the same now. I'm not the same person I was 5 years ago. So we are all like that. We're all changing and evolving, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And expanding in our awareness and consciousness. And yeah, a little bit just to say about, for those that may not know me, that, I'm not arbitrarily talking. I am in your energetic field. And one of the aspects of my soul's agreement is to be a calibrator in this lifetime. So my energetic field is carrying not only the 0 point field, but it's like it weaves universal energies and it carries original source codes. One of the original seeders of this planet. And I realized recently I'm actually the very first dragon frequency that came through, and I brought through the dragon energetics, which what the dragon frequencies are is they're unadulterated prime creator frequencies that were gifted to humanity, and to allow for us to stay aligned to unity consciousness, but they've been villainized and suppressed and hidden so that greed could come into the world. And we'll be talking about control. So a lot of the mechanisms that have come in. And so for myself of awakening, really fully, I'd say, are we ever done? No, we're always in the human suit and, doing different things. But so the level of energetics, I think the goal, if you will, certainly for me, and I think for many of us, is to embody as the highest frequencies of pure prime creator, so that no matter how we're speaking, no matter where we are, no matter what we're doing, we're always radiating those frequencies. And, when we learn to be in neutrality with everything that we say, do, am, create, so on, which is what I, strive for all the time, then we are vibrating at those really high frequencies. And that's what you feel. So when you step into a field like what I'm representing, in here, I think people can feel it right away. They can feel the light, they can feel the energetics, they can feel different things that are happening to them. And I humbly say it's not me, Kathalina, because I'm just this innocent little person that, I do my own work. And I think this is the key to it, is you want to continually do your own work so that you basically get out of your own way. And what the beautiful part of that journey is that, I like to say, when the ego can find its placement in a good way. And this is when, this me knows that they're not in charge in a positive way, then I can let go and I can just explore and I can do what I'm meant to do here, which is to experience life and whatever the vastness and the funness. And as that happens, when we let go in that 0 point, because we are creators, and there's a difference, like I happen to be a creator being, which is different than just creator, so it's a little bit different energetic field, but we all create through our thought and our emotion. And so, but as we, allow for ourselves, which is the ego self, the one that's in the human suit, to let go and play, then it's like this beautiful synergy, harmony, like dance with your oversoul and your higher self and yourself. the ego self, the one that's in the body, doing what you came here to do, and it's a lot simpler. I always say this is really easy and really hard at the same time, because of course the easy part is let go and be yourself. The hard part is let go and be yourself. But when you're able to do that, I mean, that's when, you're guided by your natural intuition, which is your oversoul and your higher self, giving you the information. And as you are simply letting go of control and allowing yourself to be and to experience and have authentic experiences in that frequency, you are vibrating as pure source consciousness, and you are creating as your soul signature, as the information, or I like to say library of information that we are, right? Because our soul is, the way that I see it, is like a library of information. And that information is important to the whole. We all have like a piece of the puzzle. So don't think that any one of you aren't special. You're all very special and very important and very unique, in this giant quantum field. And the thing is, we don't have to discover it outside of ourselves. We just have to let go and explore. And whatever we naturally gravitate towards is our uniqueness. And it's communicating, and so, and this is what I feel is really coming forward now. This is where we are in this timeline and in the opportunities that are happening now. I mean, the veils have really lifted, and there's a lot of information that's coming through. And, there's a lot, you're hearing a lot about dragons, because there's a lot of the dragon ley lines are coming forward. And I'm doing a lot with that, and doing a lot of different things that are coming forward. And it's this beautiful opportunity to really have heaven on earth, and I'm excited about it, despite everything that seems to be going on, and I think this is the key, and why this is a good one in control, because we don't realize how control limits us and takes us outside of our pure source consciousness. And we don't realize all the ways that we're guided to do that. This expression in life is really just a series of life and death, so to speak. And, we're taught fear, which is a big element in here, and certainly fear of death. And some people can say, well, I don't fear physical death. I'd say, but you fear death. You feel death of a relationship, death of a job, death of, your whatever, and that is where control comes in. It's like if we fear, then we end up controlling, and we control things in a way that we stop them. We don't let them flow, and everything's in flow and motion, right? So this series of this idea of life and death is just really that things are moving. Everything's moving. It's why concrete will eventually break down. It's why anything does, because everything is in motion. So the beauty is when we can, which I started out talking about, have the ego find its placement in a good way, and it lets go, I let go, then what am I doing? I'm allowing for life to unfold and show me, and it's about breath, taking breaths and allowing and moving, because, breath is consciousness. Everything is a consciousness, and it's aligning with the elements in a beautiful synergistic way. And this is another piece. Sorry, there's a big download coming in. This is another piece that is coming forward as well, is the real harmony and communication with the elements. The elements themselves are waking up. They've been suppressed, and they're all consciousness. Consciousness is information. They're like libraries of information within themselves. And we are now having a different harmony and communication with the elements as we are letting go and communicating. And that is going to be guiding us internally in directions of diet, exercise, communication with people, words, different things that are taking place as we allow that to continue to unfold. So it's just it's really an amazing time right now. And and everything I'm bringing to everyone here is on a level, as I'm communicating to you, I'm able to look at the entire field. I looked at the field prior to coming in, and I could see where you are in your head. And I was like, trying to push it out. And you're like, no, you wouldn't let me, because I think you were needing to. And I was laughing. I was like, oh, she needs to be structural here and do this thing. I was like, okay, let's just, we'll move that energy. But just began to allow for we'll call the inorganic frequencies to lift out. And that's really all that I'm doing. It says, and it's certainly not against anybody's sovereignty, nothing like that. It really is just when we can represent a neutrality, nothing else can survive, so to speak, within that energetic field. And, why it's so important for us to do our internal work is because all we're doing is matching frequencies in order to be comfortable. And if you're carrying any of those denser frequencies within you, then they will have a match, and it'll be where you'll begin to come uncomfortable. In this field, there is nothing for it to match. So you have the greatest opportunity for everything to begin to release, including anything in your physical body. You have a lot of opportunity right now to allow it to let go of. And it's really just a matter of, like, I saw your nice breath, Alara, taking a nice breath and just letting things go, through the energy.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was a lot of wonderful information. And, and the thing is, it's very easy, right, for us to talk about being in allowance, and to let go and so on and so forth. But I think the hardest part what we have is, if I let go, how do I trust what is going to unfold is the right thing, right? Like, I think that's like, what's the difference between letting go and giving up, kind of thing? Like, where do you find that balance between the true releasing and letting go and surrender and allowance, and then not being responsible for creating anything?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, yes. And it has everything to do with the mind versus the heart. So, what we're really talking about in this idea of letting go is a mastery of the mind. And mastering the mind means that I'm going to have the thoughts, but I have a choice as to the emotional response that I have to that thought. And of course, my favorite one to use as an example is I could go, oh my God, I don't know where my money's coming from. Or I could say, I don't know. I don't have any idea. And so we can have the thought literally like, I don't have any idea where my money's coming from, but I have an absolute choice as to the emotional response in that. And the emotional response is the difference between controlling it, holding it, fearing it versus not. And this is the key. This is where I keep trying to bring it back for people to, when you can get out of your head and you stop projecting, because you don't realize that you are literally the writer, the director, the projector, the movie, the film, everything of your whole reality. You're literally everything within it. And if we can bring it right here, we have to really, seems to be a very tough concept for people to grasp, because I do talk about this quite a bit, and I'm watching them, and it took me a bit to get it, years and years ago to get it. But to have that, the difference between what I am projecting as my reality and the reality that I'm literally just sitting right here. And this is the key. If I can, when I'm recognize that I'm literally sitting right here, and that I'm projecting a story about my life, and even though, like I said, I may not know where my money, I may not know, but I'm projecting that story here, and that projection of that story, the frequency of that is what's going to make that outcome of whatever it is come into my reality. And so, when I can really get that, when I can say, wait a minute, okay, I can either keep that story and keep myself as little me, and I got to jump and I got to figure it out. And it doesn't matter what energy I'm in. It doesn't matter if I'm freaking out. It doesn't matter if I'm tense. It doesn't matter. I could tell that story because this is what we've been controlled to do. Or I can begin to say, wait a minute, okay, I can do that, or I cannot do that. And what happens in my outcome? Okay, at the least, I feel better. I mean, at the minimum, I feel better, right? Because I'm able to sit here and breathe and relax, okay, for a minute. But in the most magnificent of that, now I'm at a frequency that I'm actually projecting and going to bring into my reality the greatest potential of something really wonderful to me. And it's so interesting because the way that the false matrix has all this in play is that what will happen is that we'll drop into that present moment for a moment. And it really is, it's about being in the present moment, authentic present moment, right? I got my feet on the floor. I'm looking out my eyes. I'm literally in my room versus my head. And of course, once we drop into the present moment, we need to take charge of that. What type of emotions I choose. So I often say to people, you can choose to start to dialogue to yourself the positive things. I'm sitting here and I'm okay. My health is good. I'm right here. In this moment, I have everything I need. I'm right here. Okay, so we're dialoguing that, and that's not in denial, okay, because that's where we want to go, but we're denying that. No, that's a reality. That's a truth, because I'm just talking about this present moment, okay, and this is the key to this that we bypass, right? So that is a truth, and as I breathe and I allow myself to expand that energetic more, that's when I'm in direct communication with my oversoul, my higher self, and I'll start getting guidance. And you will have guidance as to physical steps to start to do, to take different things. But boy, so much mental energy here. I'm going to have to move this because it's pulling me right out of the energy, because everybody's kind of going in their head. They're thinking, and this is the key. Notice that you're going in your head and drop out. Let go right now. You don't need to figure this out from your head. This is the thing. That's what everybody wants to do. They want to go in and listen from your head. No, listen from your heart. Be with me right here. Just be in the energy. See, everybody's dropping back in. Drop back in. Just be right here in the energetic, because we don't have to figure this out. It's the opposite of that. It's actually just realizing, wait a minute, where am I really? I'm projecting into a story in my life that makes me uncomfortable. I don't have to do that. Okay, I can be right here, and so again, it's not denying, it's not hiding anything. It's just, it's the choice between the emotional response. So it's not the fact that I don't know where my money's coming from. It's the fact of my emotional response to that. That's the key, right? And that's the difference in the outcome that will come into my reality. And there's so many things that are in play, because this is why addictions come in and why there's so many distractions, because the powers that be, the false matrix energy, don't want you to figure out this most powerful, significant aspect of yourself as a creator being. So we put in play TV, drinking, drugs, sex, anything, to distract you from this present moment, so that you feel that we can take the energy and put it into something else. And in that way, I'm going to feel the idea of happy or joyful or whatever, instead of the authentic feelings of what this joy really feels like. And this is a whole new series that I'm doing now, which is all about that, this coming in. One of the reasons I'm doing that, which I'm sure will come on these later. But so this is another part of the game. This is why we don't even know what we're feeling. We don't know what authentic joy is. We don't know what authentic power is. We don't know what, these authentic love and these things are, because we've been pushed out of the present moment, the 0 point where we can discover that for ourselves. And then we end up in something else, because the minute that we drop into the unknown, we're not taught to be in the unknown, we're taught to be in the known. So what drops into the unknown is fear. But when you realize there's nothing to fear but fear itself, again, when we can master that, and how do I do that? I wake myself up to the present moment and talk to myself. Like, I could be right here and say, what do I have to fear in this present moment? Nothing. I'm right here. I'm literally right here. There is nothing to fear in this present moment. 100%. And when we can let that expand, when we can realize, that we're being pushed out of the present moment all the time, and the idea of a trigger, which recently I've been, guided, and I think it's great to refer to triggers as awakening, because the trigger seems sort of a negative. So we say an awakening, is the awareness that I'm not in the present moment. Because whenever we have something that awakens us, it's a guarantee of even in the past or in the future, because that doesn't happen in the present moment. We don't have those, we'll call it triggers, or the awakening in the present moment like that, because the present moment is brand new. There is no preconceived anything within it. And it's not to say that, we have many lifetimes, so that there are things that are coming up all the time. But this is also how we can release them, how we get out of the victim-victimizer roles, how we get out of all of that energy, is that in that present moment, we have the opportunity to decide what emotion we want to attach to whatever the thought is. This is the key, because I've talked about before that we are literal creators, and we create through our thought and our emotion, right? Every single thought comes out of your head as a geometric shape, and that thought is the blueprint of your creation. Then you add an emotion to that. The emotion is the fuel. It's the person and the pencil. So the emotion is the key here. Now the thought is creating, and it's such a fast speed. It's really the fastest thing. It's faster than the speed of light. It's creating, and every single thought is a creation. It's what is the fabric of the universe. It's made up of thoughts, 100%. And then you add an emotion, and the emotional component is the human. It's what we get to do. We get to do that. But what has been happened is we've been given it. And so, because the way that we create is, when you believe it, you will see it. But we've been taught that I have to believe it, I have to see it, and then I believe it. And so that's why the matrix is so clever, because it'll show you. And the thing is, you don't even realize what you're doing, right? So when we bring in, so say we're in the privacy of our own home and we're by ourselves and we're thinking about, oh my God, I don't know where my money's coming from. And we go into a place of panic and worry. And now we're projecting that. And so what will happen is you'll get a response to that in the physical world. And then you'll say, see, I can't trust. But you don't realize that you created that response from you sitting in the privacy of your own home, letting yourself go into fear. You see, because, and this is the game. That's why the minute we drop out of the game doesn't exist. And how do you drop out? You just drop into the 0 point. You drop into the place of no thing and all possibilities, the brand new moment. We're just kids on the playground. And when you can drop into that pure unknown with curiosity and excitement and joy, it's game over. And that's why I keep saying this is really easy and really hard. And so it's that continual inward journey. What am I feeling? What am I feeling? And I mean, I practice this so much that like we don't realize how quickly we go in our head. Like if I'm certainly here, I'm in an energy field, it's very easy for me. And I pretty much can carry the 0 point everywhere I go, but I'm human. And say, particularly like a date or something like that, you can immediately start going in your head and you're judging, you're noticing. And so I literally will sit in my car, prior to meeting somebody or anything like that. And I will take breaths and drop myself into the present moment. And even as I'm walking towards the door, I'll continually do that. I'll notice my feet on the floor. I will just continue. And even when I first see them, I drop out. I can, you can feel it, the energy coming up. But if you drop back into your heart and you really practice this, it's amazing what happens. Because not only did they suddenly are in a different field because you took out any nervousness or anything, you're just kind of like, but it's just like this amazing experience of what we get to feel, and it just takes practice, and it's just a mastery. And I'm bringing it all to you in this beautiful field. So
I love that. I just absolutely love that. And it's so true. Like it's crazy how fast we go into our heads, into our thoughts, and get lost in stories, right? It's so easy. But it's just as easy to come back into our heart space, come back into that 0 point, to drop down. It's just as easy. But it is about, like you said, practice and awareness, being present, being aware, like, oh, I'm in my head, I'm in my thoughts. All right, let me drop back down. Right?
Yeah. And being gentle and loving with you.
There's no judgment.
Yes, in all aspects of self. Well, there is a lot of judgment. I think that it happens. That's what it is we're taught to, again, judge and villainize and whatever ourselves. We go into shame, we go into embarrassment, we go into all sorts of things. But as that, when those things occur, okay, if we keep loving this being over and over, then what's happening is those aspects of self that are feeling that, because it's either this lifetime or other lifetimes, and it's younger versions of you that froze in that part of you's development. So say like a 6-year-old saw the world as not a safe place, then that 6-year-old now doesn't see the world as a safe place. And so if you in your adult life have something that brings that to your awareness in your present moment, then you become the 6-year-old that doesn't feel it. And if you stay as that 6-year-old, then you're just going to validate that within your reality. But if instead you get curious and you ask yourself, okay, what do you need? What's going on? What's happening? And if you're able to do this in real time, like when it occurs, particularly say you're with family members or partner, anything that this happens to you, and you're able to, it's almost like you become the witnessing observer of yourself, but it's as though you sort of back up into yourself, so to speak. So there's two of you now. It's like the way I see it is like you as your higher self gets bigger and you're supporting little you're around her suddenly like this at the same time in real time that you in your present moment with whoever it is, you're feeling uncomfortable. But if you're able to observe that, like, why am I feeling this? Because, in our adult life or in any life in the present moment, what are we feeling that anyway? It doesn't even exist. When you get to the part of it is what it is. Okay, why am I even having any of these emotions in the first place? Well, because some part of me is having that. And so when I can support her and I can begin to talk to myself like in that present moment, it's okay, I love you. There's nothing to be afraid of, because you're looking out your eyes literally in the room, recognizing there's nothing to be afraid of. And you're telling that to her. And what happens is you're literally changing your past, because then she begins to grow up inside of you instead of you shrinking yourself to her all the time. And this is a big piece in our development, because the world wants you to stay small and to stay in that, and will keep showing you, and you don't realize who's in charge. So if that 6-year-old is the one in charge, and she's the one in charge of like your finances, and she's the one sending out the energy all the time, then you're going to perpetually be in debt or have problems and blah blah blah, and you won't understand. And then if you're then judging, which is more like the teen or the later one, going then now we've got a whole team of punishers that's happening to self. And the key to all of this, because remember, everything's about matching frequencies. If I drop into that neutrality, those frequencies have no match. There's nowhere for it to match anymore. And so it's an interesting journey that we have so much power. When I see this, I see it like the Russian dolls, those little dolls that have the small one and the big one, big one. That's exactly what it's like. When you're supporting yourself, then you have these other versions of self that just click into the bigger one and become you here, instead of us shrinking to the small one and being that for a while, and the next one. It's beautiful.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. And, during this whole conversation, some of you might have also, gone into your thoughts for a moment and gone into a story of some sort, and then come back, because that's what we're talking about. It's like, yes, we do that. We go into our stories, we go into our heads, we go into our thoughts, but then it's about coming back, noticing and coming back, noticing and coming back, right? Coming back to that present moment.
Exactly.
All right, so we're going to take some questions, because we always love the questions that come up, because it's always so exciting what comes up for everyone. So I did write in the chat, but if you would like to work with Kathalina, raise your hand. So is it a good time to take some questions?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
We're gonna go to Catherine. Catherine, you want to unmute yourself?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep. Hi.
Hi. Hi. I'm experiencing everything you're talking about, of course, and during a move. So it's fascinating, how all of a sudden I'll be, and then I can calm down. And so I'm starting to play with it, but I literally physically feel pain with it, but it's moving, and a lot is flushing out of my skin. So I think I'm being guided to work with some aloe water and to swim in the sea. But I have sort of a fun question, a lighthearted question, but I actually think it's quite deep. Literally, I just keep getting octopuses presenting to me in my dreams, and like a presence communicating with me. And I wanted to ask you about that. And at first I was kind of afraid of it, but now it's really shifted. And I'm trying to get in touch with what the origin of this species is. And of course, they're very deep in the sea. And my sense it's connected to dragon energy. So I kind of wanted your assistance on that, in terms of its presence with me right now, and sort of how to work with that, and sort of what it is. Because anyway, that's...
Well, my initial in that is that, they have 8 legs, right? So it was abundance. It's about infinity. It's about energetics for sure. They're very intelligent. Also, the way they're showing me like the way that the bubble, is like that sort of contains, all the legs of opportunity, expansion, growth, this kind of stuff. I feel like that it's really just very profound in your energetics of showing you all that wants to come in, but I also think that the way that I'm being shown, with the bubble, that's like your head. So it's like you're still doing things with your hands, kind of energetic, and it wants to be able to open, much more in a quantum field, larger, with the energetics, because that's the kind of infinity aspect. And as I'm talking to you, I'm watching that open more, and that's really what I feel like. In terms of the dragon frequencies, I think, sure, yes, there's a connection to golden dragon. I can definitely feel that below, but it feels much more like the energy of the sort of this octopus walking on the bottom, around the bottom of the ocean kind of energetics. I can feel it's connecting into some of that very deep, rich frequencies of the gold frequency. And it's it is your energetics. But there's a big piece about it opening, it definitely feels like it wants to open.
That would explain why I keep getting to go into the ocean and to submerge myself. And it's funny because I'm on Vancouver Island and there are a lot of them around here. So it's interesting. Yeah. Okay. That confirms. Thank you. Yeah.
I'm excited for you.
I'm definitely going to book a session soon.
Yeah. Wonderful. I look forward to seeing you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Catherine.
Thank you.
Exciting.
Thank you.
All right, Tanya.
Hello, ladies. I'm happy to see you, Kathalina. Happy to see you.
Nice to see you. Yeah.
I will have to go into my mind to ask a question.
Sure.
So, and it may sound very complicated because I do believe I create my reality, but a lot of people are talking about co-creating with the source. So, how much what I create is coming from me, and how much it coming from, well, I say universe or the source or universal consciousness, and how, like, people that come into my life, sometimes the name will come to me first and I wouldn't know why the name came, and then I meet the person and I always think, is it me, but because the time is not linear, created this, or is it universe is sending just people who help me heal and help me kind of to evolve, and how do we co-create? And also I always thought, if we live in a kind of how you call it, not like matrix, and it is not real, but it is something we create with our mind. Why do we make things so complicated? Like even the way the body built and all the cells, how the cell built. Why couldn't it be much more simpler? For example, why the physical world is very complicated, and how much we create with our mind and emotions, and how much it is created from I don't know, I call it universal consciousness or the source or whatever. If my question is clear at all.
Well, it felt like that there was a couple of different questions in there.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. Well, I feel like that it doesn't matter whether it's I'm creating it, or because I am creating it. See, I am that, right? I'm source consciousness in a physical body. So I think that question, like, is it coming from my mind? Is it coming from my higher self? It's really more about, is it coming from my heart? So we do create, through our mind and through our emotions. And so I think the difference is, if I create from my mind, what am I pulling in? Is it something that's aligned to me? Because we can do that, right? We can force things. I've certainly changed energy in my life and kept people in my life that I thought, why didn't I just let that go? Because we can override things and do that, because we are a creator. We can do a lot of different things. I think that the key to this is that there is a universal consciousness. There is universal law in creation itself, and kind of like the sort of simplistic principles of organic or universal consciousness creation is that creation has a purpose. It has an expansion to it, and it has a a sort of a reason as being part of the whole, would be creation. So something that I would be pulling by myself away, if I were to, I don't know, let's just say I brought in a person in my reality and I'm holding that person in my reality because I don't want to let them go, but everything in me is asking that relationship to shift and change, then me creating that is not supporting universal law because it's separating, it's not expanding, it's not part of the whole. It's actually kind of taking away, kind of in an energetic, even though I don't realize that I'm necessarily doing that, but I am. I'm going against my own sovereignty and against their sovereignty and this is what we're learning about relationships now. We're attempting to step into what we call right relationships or authentic relationships, which what we've been doing is relationships are transactional. They are seduction, persuasion, manipulation, even like marketing or anything is all about trying to get somebody to do something. Where coming into authentic relationships, both with ourself, with our body, with our mind, with our heart, in the idea of sovereignty is where I am authentically honest and truthful of my own self. I'm not, trying to get something out of you or put something in you. I'm authentically in a present moment experience. And so this is this idea of heart-centered creation. So heart-centered creation is when I'm literally like, I enjoy it and I'm here, or being like, why I'm here. I'm not here with you because, I'm here to make money or I'm here. Those are products of what may occur. There's a product of this where I maybe get known, but that's not why I'm here. I'm here because my heart wants me to be here and I'm here. So, there's a difference between our motivation in things. That's really what we're talking about. What is my primary motivation? And so I think that's part of it in knowing in the creative and my creating from my mind and my heart. If my mind, usually the motivation is a selfish motivation. It's something about self. It pulls away. It's not service to humanity. It's service to self. We don't recognize that. My heart is service to humanity. It's an openness, it's very different. Also when you talk about the complications, it's not really complicated. It's just that, we, like in this human body, we are mimicking the universe. We're mimicking, universal energy and how the cosmos works and how also the elements work, because we are one with the earth herself. So the complexity of the organ structures and the way that the body works is the complexity of earth herself, which is a magnificent connection of elements and elemental beings, and so when you can recognize that way, it's really not complex. It's fun, it's exciting, it's it's just part of this grand experiment that we have the opportunity, that we're really privileged to be here. And that's an interesting thing too, right? Because we don't often recognize that. You say, oh, God, it's horrible, I don't want to be a human. But, it's like we're sought out, and when you can, and the reason it feels so complicated and uncomfortable is because we're been guided to maneuver through the mind, the brain, and the physical brain is like it's nothing more than like a computer. And so it only has the information that I put in it. So what we've been guided to do is take this magnificent consciousness that you are, this library of information that you are, and shove it into the physical brain, search around for answers from things that were put in there by you observing things and you were told different things. But if instead I like, go into my own heart space, and I come through there, because that's really what we're looking through. We're actually looking through our heart space into this reality. And so if I let myself be me, and I have authentic experiences, now, and this is very different now, I'm creating from a very different perspective. Right. So, and it's fun. It becomes fun. And when you can let go, and I tell you, the number one key that I've experienced to actually letting go is through money. Okay. Because money is like the big control mechanism. When you talk about control, it is the number one control on the planet. Right. And the key to true freedom that I've discovered is when you can let go of any hold of money. Now, it's an interesting thing, and I've shared this before, that I was guided, like my dialogue many years ago. First dialogue was help me get out of my own way, and then it became let go of everything. And then I was guided, let go of money. And I was like, what? And I recognized what was being told to me was let go of any place that I'm holding it. Like the example, if I create a course, and if my focus is about money, then I'm holding it. But if I just go in my heart and the course wants to come out, and I put it out, and yes, I have a dollar amount and I have whatever, that's a very different way. But then there was another level that really created the freedom. And then the other level is where, and I've said this before, that I think the worst thing for us to have is an actual savings account. Now, I happen to have a savings account because I need somewhere to put the money, because I'm not buying land just yet or whatever. But the reason I say that is because a savings account is a place you put your money that you can't touch. You have to have 2 and 3 times over it just to use it and whatever. Well, so the next level for me was I was guided to look at energetically my savings account. And so for me, I could see it, and it was like, it looked like it had like a flow coming in, and then it had something here, but it looked like a piece, like I could see it looking like this elongated thing. And in the middle was like darker, so it wasn't as light. And what that represented was, and I was kind of guided, like, do you have anywhere in your energy that you're using this as a fail safe, as something to fall back on? And I was like, huh. So I had to kind of look at that energy, and I was like, wow. And so that energy is another sort of tricky way that's keeping you limited. And I was like, huh, well, that's interesting. Yeah. And that's where it was. And I said, oh, no, I don't want that. So take it away. It's fine. Let it go. Let it flow. And when I let that energy, I'm so free now. It's just like incredible. And you have to understand that this is, when I'm talking about this, it's just an internal space of feeling. The literal will show up. And as I've done this, everything flows. It's just so much flow. It's like what you hear and you read about these things about people have been trying to tell us for years. Well, we don't get it. And suddenly I'm getting it. I'm like, wow, okay, this is what real divine flow. And when you can get that, you get it in your world, then suddenly it's like, oh, wow, because it's just right here. So I keep talking about, yes. And because I know when people go in their head, they're like, oh gosh, well, this is the flow. It's a story. Okay. I'm telling you about the feeling. And as soon as I had that feeling of like, because in a feeling, if we're holding it, you feel it. It's like there's some kind of tension. And I've described this before of like, how I was like hovering over my bed for a long time. It's like I was never quite resting into the mattress forever. And I remember the day that I literally rested in. I was like, oh my gosh, I let go. And I was like in my 20s, I was like, wow, I actually let go. Huh, that's interesting. Didn't mean I kept it. I went hovering again for a while, and sometimes I hover, but for the most part I let go. But that's really what it is, and you can feel it because I'm showing you. It's just, this is this excitement, that we have, that we don't let ourselves, and I give you one more example. It's like, if you're a little kid on the playground, it's the difference between being the little kid that's just like doing their thing and doesn't matter and and seeing other little kids and just like having fun, versus the little kid that's like in their head and they're like, oh, I don't know if I can go over there. you know, and why not be a little kid like, la, 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 I don't care, you know? I mean, why not? You know, I mean, because this is the thing, is we're guided, you know, it's such a funny thing that we have this image of like what other people think. But I assure you, there is no privacy. There's nothing hidden. That's an
Okay.
illusion. That's an illusion. So
Thank you so much. You answered all my questions. Thank you
yeah,
so much.
you're welcome. You're
Appreciate
welcome.
it.
Awesome.
Yeah, that
Thank
was
you,
good.
Tanya. That
Thank
was such a complete answer for sure.
Yes, thank you. A lot of wonderful things came through.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, we're gonna go to Sophia.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Sophia.
Hi.
Hi, Sophia.
I love to be here present.
Oh,
Usually
you have to speak
Your-
louder, Sophia. We can
your
hardly hear
vol-
you.
Yeah, your volume's a little low.
yeah, I usually listen to the all the replays, but you know this time I happened to be online, you know, in live, and so I was very pleased to be here. So I just went through to my doctor and found out some not so good news. So I just my question is anything else? Is anything that maybe a Council of Nine or spirits wanted to tell me at this time?
About what?
About health.
That is such a broad question. I guess what I'm feeling for you is to let go of all fear, you know, around anything, to recognize that words have a lot of energy to them. And when you are given a word, you're given a diagnosis, and you absorb that energy in a place of fear, you're pulling it in. And so I'd say, if I were you, I would go deeper and just ask the question, why is this with me? You know, and if you can ask from a place of curiosity and not a place of like, oh my gosh, you know, just more like in a neutrality point. Remember what we keep talking about. Everything's about matching energy and frequency. So if you're able to be curious about whatever's going on within you, and I can look at it, I'd say you should come in for a session if you can, or it would be benefit you. But, you know, if you can be in a place of neutrality, communicating to your body, communicating to yourself, you are representing the no thing and all possibilities. That is the greatest opportunity for this to release from your body instantly, really instantaneously, any of it, you know, which I can already feel things moving, something around your throat. So it's all, you know, different things that are moving in your energetic field. So the key to this is everything we're talking about here. Mastering the mind around it and being curious and asking, what is this? You know, why is this in my energetic field? How is this serving me? Because it is serving you in some way. It is something that you've brought in for a reason. And so, you know, that's really what I feel is the most important. And I think there's a lot of light. You got a lot of light around you. There's definitely a lot that's going on in your energetic field. I definitely feel something. It feels like around the throat area of something that's happening. So but that's what I would feel.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you, Sophia.
Thank you.
Blessings.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna go to Arunima.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
How are
Hi.
you folks doing?
Good.
Thank you. I was just gonna ask I do see a lot of numbers. I'm very drawn to angel talks and ascended masters and all of that. I want to know, what is it I need to be doing with all of that information? How can I use it? That's one question. And the second part is basically, I often question why I'm even here anymore. Because there is a lot, I almost feel like I'm existing in a vacuum. So any insight, because my body aches and pain are too much, and every time new things keep coming up. So I'm just wondering what's going on.
Well, I think you answered your own question. You know, it's because you're very much in the mind. And so what's happening is the more that we pull into the mind, I think that's what all the numbers are about, is about, you know, trying to get you to pay attention to what you're doing. And so it's a, you know, it's what we do, right? We dialogue to ourselves, this, you know, energetic of shutting down, and I'm going to encourage you not to take any notes and to let go, because that's exactly because you're pulling out of the energy. You're not with me in the energy. You're in your mind, you're in your head. And this is exactly it. It's like, you're not broken. Okay, there's not going to be a fix like that, because you're not broken. And this is the thing that many people do, right? We look for, okay, this is going to be the key. This is the answer. This is the answer. The key you already have. It's you. When you let go, when you allow yourself, when you ask yourself, why am I holding on so tight? And this is really what it is that there's a fear about you being yourself. And if I go deeper in the energy, it has everything to do with your culture. It has everything to do with you. I mean, there's just so much in your energy in relationship to that. And that's really what it is. It's when I feel at the bottom line is you're afraid to let go and be yourself. It reminds me of a bit more extreme version of when I was, coming out as this galactic being. And I remember, like, I didn't even know aliens exist. I was introduced to lots of different things in lots of different ways, but there was a certain level for me. At first I was like, oh no, I don't do that. Even light language. I was like, I don't do light language. Everybody else does, not my thing. But it was like coming out, and, here I am. And so it's like, be as weird as we are, and I think that's really, this is a big piece for you. I don't know if you have a lot of medical people in your energy, doctors or something around you, and maybe of your family. I don't know, something in that's making you have to like be in this sort of rigid energetic where it's it's all about comfort. It's just really about comfort. And that's why the body is struggling so much. I would just say to you, if you can just like, this is my controversial moment when I say it's like suicide, but not suicide, like, killing yourself, but it is that level of surrender. It's like, okay, I can't take it anymore. My head is too much. I got too much crap going on in here. I can't deal with it. Whatever, and you're just like, and let it fly. Because the thing is that your natural is vibrating at a lot higher rate than a lot of these, I feel like, medical people around you, and you're trying to match them. And it's like, that's not going to happen, because you're vibrating at a faster rate. So you keep adjusting your frequency to be comfortable around them, instead of you just letting yourself be you and let them figure it out, because it feels like a lot of people around you want you to be a certain way. And when you just realize that, and like, well, why am I doing that? This is the key. And I can feel it. Your body will absolutely change. Everything changes. It's ready to let go. You're right at the precipice. You've been at the precipice with this for probably at least a year, I'd say, and definitely within, the last several months or so. And it's just a lot. So yeah, just surrender to being happy.
I would love to. And I'm trying to be more outgoing and just be free. Part is survival, how to make ends meet, and then partly is also hypersensitivity to being around people. I don't want to take any more time. Maybe next person. I just wanted to add that. That's all.
Yes, well, that's like the human condition. We are all empathic, and what you're doing is you're shrinking your energy. So I will explain this, and I've talked about this many times in other talks, that if you think about, we as energy, right, and frequency, as our soul, we need a kind of container for us to have a physical reality. And so the body is the container, right? Well, if this were a room, and you have, like, in the corner of the room, you have a candle lit, that would mean I have 25% of the room is light. That means 75% of the room is dark. The difference between light and dark is information. And light is information, darkness is the absence of information. In this case, that would be you. So if that's your body, that means I have 25% of me operating in my body. That means 75% is something else. What is that? It's the collective beliefs. It's my parents. It's my partner, whatever. But in the room, if we take that to the room, all we have to do is expand that candlelight across the room, and all the darkness goes away. So it's the opposite of what we're taught, right? So we're taught when we fear, we contract, but then I'm going to create more of what I don't want. But if instead I take breaths and I expand my light, now I'm expanding my light to all of the denser energies. And so I'm not going to feel it. So it's the complete opposite of what you're doing, right? And that's what you do. Oh, I'm so sensitive, I can't, I'm a shrink. So shrinking means you're matching it. And then you're going to shrink so much so that my body now is aching. I'm having problems and I'm breaking down. And this is the conundrum. But if instead, breathe, expand your light, let go. Now I'm vibrating at the higher frequencies that everybody else can now feel, and they'll either shift or go away. So it's just you've been doing it backwards. You know, this is the backwards energetics.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. I really need to work with somebody in that case.
Yes.
Thank
Definitely.
you.
You're
Aidan.
welcome.
Thank you, Arnima.
Thank you.
And you're not alone, of course, right? So just
No,
know that you're not alone. You're not the only one doing that.
everyone, that is the human condition, you know, is that we're taught to be afraid of things, and because it's uncomfortable, we pull away. I did for many years. And
Yeah.
so, you know, it really is, it's the deepest part of self-love. It's like you want to love her so much to say, what am I doing? I'm hiding. Why am I hiding? And remember, we're just talking about internal right now. Just notice what happens when you get around other people. Are you hiding yourself inward? Am I shrinking? Or can I at least be within my own body? Taking a breath and letting it happen. It just takes practice. This is, again, mastering the mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second. I feel like there was somebody who is unmuted. Just okay. All right, so let's just take one more quick question, then I want to talk about the package, and then and like always, you're going to do a little transmission, right?
Yes.
A little, but it's powerful. I say
Yes.
little, but it's always powerful.
Yeah.
Whoops. Okay,
Activation.
1 second. All right, so iPhone Von Nicole. You want to unmute? Oh, perfect.
Hello.
Yep, hi.
Oh, hi. Gosh, I'm still in the energy, so I don't really have a question in that matter. It's just I'm resonating so much with your energy and with the Arcturians and with the dragons. And right now I'm in the middle of, I don't even know what I'm in, but I just feel like I had to raise my hand and see if there's anything that would like to be shared with me, because since the 5th of May, since the message came in, I'm not doing one-on-one sessions anymore. I'm like right now in the middle of something new, and I have no idea what it is. I'm not looking for it. I'm not searching for it. I received that message from the divine, and I just give everything up. And yes, here I am.
Mm-hmm. And you're some type of practitioner?
Well, I was doing energy sessions, one-on-ones before, where the message just came through, and I am with whatever came through. And on Good Friday, the message came through from the divine saying, okay, the 5th of May is when you're not doing that anymore. And nothing else came through. I listened. I closed everything and stayed open, and nothing else came through, but I'm not searching. I'm in that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in nowhere right now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But you were doing this for other people, right?
Yes, for 10 years.
Uh-huh. Yeah, well, because there's a big energy shift that's taking place. It's taking place in general, but I also think it's because I think unintentionally you were kind of holding a certain energetic field. I don't think you've been aware of that, and that wants to open up around you. That's why you're here. Because I'm representing a much higher frequency field today than I even have in the past. So this is what you're stepping into. And it is about a deeper surrender. So as I'm even, looking at your energetic field, I can see it shedding off and letting go, because some of what you've been doing has been coming through the mind. It hasn't been 100%. Of course, there's a lot of authenticity, but it was also being a little bit held. And this is the opportunity to open up to a very different level. And that's what's happening for you right now, that I'm actually opening up that channel for you as we're speaking. And I'll be doing that when I do the activation. So get excited. I think there's going to be some really amazing things that are coming in. Definitely connected to the dragon frequencies. I feel that in you as well. That's really wanting to open. There's a lot of that energetics that's coming in. So it's beautiful.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Nicole.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
And so, of course, the message for everyone in all of this is always about, drop down into your heart, right? So Nicole is just, surrendering and letting go and just, waiting, I guess, for, how everything's going to unfold next, right? And trusting, right? So, and, staying in your heart and just seeing what unfolds can be difficult sometimes, but you know what? We can all do it. we can do it.
Yeah.
It takes practice for sure, right? So
Absolutely.
just good.
Well, yeah, because we're discovering, I mean, for myself, I literally asked my heart. I was like, what's in you? And I burst out crying, deep, deep crying, because I could see like a little tiny me, like way inside. It was kind of like this, or like, can I come out? And I was like, oh, wow. Like, yeah, and she came out, and now it's like this fun, playful, but it was a lot, very deep crying because of her being seen. And also, just all the layers. It was is that really deep level of, is it okay? Am I okay? Am I really good? Am I really, all this kind of stuff. And that was the deepest part for me. Even prior to that, it was just asking like, what's in my heart? And I remember saying like, I really do care. It's like, wow, you really do care. Yep, I really do. Okay. Because we just don't even know who we are, until we get to know who we are. And then it gets easier. Gets a lot easier.
Absolutely. It gets easier as you continue to drop down into the 0 point, into your heart space, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm going to share my screen. 1 second. Yeah, hold on 1 second. So the package that Kathalina has for us this time around is restoring the original soul fragmentation and releasing the imprint of control. It's a 9-week series. And so most of you know already how those 9-week series work, but I'm going to let Kathalina explain, a little bit about each one.
Well,
It's an activation series.
Yeah. Well, I think the advantage to this is that it's pre-recorded so that you can download it right away. I mean, you can get the information right away. Everything I do is in the 0 point. So no matter when you listen, it's in the present moment. Each time you listen, it's in the present moment. And this is a part of the Brain and Body series. And there's actually 12 different like imprints within the Brain and Body series. This is one of them, in control. And so it's the releasing of the control within all the body systems. And the reason being in the body systems is because, of course, the body's everything. And so I channeled a written portion that you can read, and then I'll also speak it in the beginning. And that's a certain level of frequency that gets moved. And then I go into light language and mudras and things that go in other levels of clearing this information from you and from your brain and body. So it gives you a better, like a template to the 0 point in relationship to this frequency of control. And I highly recommend it to everyone, because this whole series, if you even get opportunity to look at my website, everything that I've done up to this point, including all of this Brain and Body series, is all about the connection of you to the earth, the deepest connection to you in the earth. The newer ones that I'm doing is a deeper connection to you in source, but you need to have the connection to the earth, I believe, in place before you can go and tackle the deeper part of you in source, because everything is through the mind, and there's a deeper surrender, it needs to take place.
Absolutely. So there's a lot of information on the page, right? So of course, please take a look at that. For Kathalina's package, it is $197. There's a payment plan available. And if you're an Inner Circle member, please do use your gift code as well. Okay. All right. And so what I'm always looking forward to, and I think we all are always looking forward to is the transmission that Cathleena facilitates during these calls. So it's obviously going to be a little bit about control, but it's also going to be a little bit based on the conversations we've already had, right?
Yes, I'm just going to open up the energy to what wants to come through. So it'll be some clearing, and we'll just see. Let's see what wants to come. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to change the sound so you get all the nuances. And for those that may not know, I make a lot of sounds, do a lot of strange things. So just kind of go with it. If you want to close your eyes and take some nice deep breaths. Kita tu tui mesurgare pa kopa pa ka sani ko diam de su mi se ki sa za kana on te patu shmi tra ka mama papa kom papa ka sinina ya sa kana mosuri ko ti kus Asaraki, desekatsuki, taraketa takome tatsuki, shi sushimi, pukina kotera papo stikera. Eserakata tetuku, gasarakata daka, ala kosi menepus, menepera, la kanematutumi. Asari que te documenta a la casa de Coti, a la calle Boship, so was some of that in the casino in the Kush Imuri, el Popet, la que le potutera. Asati contin, as a recatuts. Take some deep breaths. Release all entities, energies, inorganic frequencies, inorganic technologies, inorganic timelines, past, present, and future, and all space-time continuum from my conscious, subconscious, and cellular level. Take a deep breath. Ekata, ethuk, aba, kos, ish, ya, ome, tata, wimba, tutu, kishra, kalimati, tukometita. Isukom, papa, ola, la, kasna. It's about shkatas. Así cocina mariquita tacalia to cuema. Opening up the portals in your feet, allowing you to root and ground into the crystalline core of Sophia Gaia. Take a deep breath. Opening up your crown to pure prime creator. As above is below, as below is above. Taking deep breaths, just clearing through the feet and the legs, this energy of doer, of being on the earth, of feeling alone, feeling separate, feeling isolated, feeling in survival. Take a deep breath. Bringing up the crystalline core around you. We're going to bring this high frequency plasmic field into your energetic field, calibrating, integrating all elements, earth, fire, air, water, ether, in the diamond blue plasmic flame of the sixth element to all aspects of self, mental, physical, spiritual, etheric, calibrating, integrating the quantum level of the carbon DNA to the crystalline DNA, to the original human blueprint, the original human genome, the I am presence, and shifting some geometries. I'm taking you up an octave in your frequency. I'm going to step into the sacral, kind of the connection. It's around the umbilical area of the sacral and up into the solar plexus area. I'm going to clear through this area, this information. We're going to clear this information of identification of self in a way that is harmful to self, like a sort of beating self up and through these emotions, through the creative creation center. And I'm going to move that up, and we're going to open up, and I'm going to shift the solar plexus from its inverted position to a proper position of self-identification, so that you will begin to feel who you really are. And I'm going to open up that channel to the heart, throat, pineal, crown, soul star, and prime creator. Take some deep breaths. I'm also going to clear some through the lungs. I'm going to clear out some of this frequencies of like literally holding the breath, but it's about holding, the control of self. Just going to let that out, just letting little particles float out of your body. You can imagine them floating out of the lungs like dirt, just letting it go. Take a deep breath. Just going to let that go. Breath is the consciousness. We're just going to bring in a greater breath, higher frequency of communication. There we go. And oxygenation to the body. Good. Deep breath. It is said, it is done, it is said, it is done, it is so, it is so, it is so. I am free, I am free, I am free, I am that. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Take a deep breath. Just bringing this calibration into the present moment. And for those of you that have anything physical in your body, you have an opportunity to let this go right now. Just let it go. I'm just taking away the identification as it and giving you opportunity. I feel for many of you it's outside of your body and just going to dissipate in your field if you allow that to continue. It's great. Deep breath. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Going to bring this calibration into the present moment. Your crown is completely open to Prime Creator. Your root into Sophia Gaia is above, is below, is below, is above. It's just imagining energetic roots coming out the legs, out the feet, wrapping around the crystalline core of the earth. These are crystal clear roots as we're calling in the 18th dimensional diamond consciousness of water, bringing in divine clarity and divine flow, allowing for that flow. I'm going to bring this into the fluid systems in your body, brain fluid, spinal fluid, interstitial fluid, all becoming divine clarity and flow. And the plasma literally within your bloodstream. Good. Deep breath. Okay, good. All right. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. Have a drink of water if you have water. Make sure you drink water.
Definitely. Okay, how's everyone doing? Thank you, thank you, thank you. I noticed I'm really cold now. That's one of the things that I saw shift was I became really cold at the end.
Yeah.
But a lot shifting, a lot moving. It's like the more, I don't know, I have no words. Sometimes it's like my mind doesn't want to even think about anything. I can't even put some stuff into words, actually.
That's okay. Yeah, it's a very profound energetic clearing. I took everybody up an octave in their energetic fields. It was the level of frequencies that I'm attuning to are very, very different now. So very broad, let's say. So yeah,
definitely profound.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Christine says her feet and legs are tingling because we definitely did a lot of grounding as well, right? Her was profound, felt it deeper, good, beautiful and powerful as always. Yep. Lots of yawning. Oh yes, for sure. Yeah, lots of yawning and a bit of convulsions, Aranima says. Lots of movement, Chris says. Yeah, I was yawning a lot. And yeah, tears, not tears per se, but my eyes get watery sometimes.
Yeah.
Good. So just, remember, thank you, Carrie says, and coughed a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just let it out.
A lot of clearing. Yeah. I suggest if you can, get in water, taking a bath would be really good. Revisit this. This is a very powerful activation that came through. Highly recommend all of you to revisit it several times.
Yeah, and because it's going to be on YouTube and on the podcast, so you can definitely go back and watch or listen to it again for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you for such an amazing clearing. The energy is definitely uplifting. Too beautiful to describe. Yeah, Gail, exactly. Tina says, thanks. Love the process. Felt shifting in my gut. Oh, yes, because I remember you were talking about near the belly button, solar plexus, etc. It's sometimes I don't remember everything, that happens. So I was like, oh yeah, I should do something. My lungs feel more spacious somehow. Good. Yes, I remember that, letting go of stuff out of the lungs. Yeah. A lot of movement in my solar plexus. Awesome.
Beautiful. I love it.
Yeah, very emotional for me, Pecorette says. Awesome. Just, continue to release and let go. It's all good.
Yeah.
Oh goodness, Kathalina, always powerful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Anything else that we need to know before we go? Because yeah, that was, stay in the energies, obviously, stay in your heart space the best you can, stay in the 0 point as much as possible, and keep coming back, right?
Yeah, and just know that everything that you're feeling, everything that I'm representing and bringing is you. I am you, you're me, we're one in this energetic field, and that, I happen to be bringing certain information, but, you know this on many different levels. You are this, and it's all about letting go. It's all about having fun.
Yeah.
Give yourself opportunity to enjoy, life. I think if people ask me, like, how did I know who I am and come into this, I'd say I surrendered my misery and I started having fun.
I love that.
Yes.
I surrendered my misery. I'm gonna do that too. I'm gonna surrender my misery.
Yes.
Absolutely. I love that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. That's great wisdom.
Yeah.
Awesome. Unfortunately, I do have another appointment right now in like 2 minutes. Otherwise, I would love to stay on and take a few more questions. But just know, everyone, that the answers or that Kathalina gave during all the questions, feel into it, allow yourself to drop into your heart and receive the transmissions at this, of what she was saying at those times as well, right? So it's not just words, it's also transmissions, plus the actual transmission as well. Continue to receive that, and of course, go back and watch or listen to the whole conversation and receive from the whole call, as well as the transmission at the end. Okay.
Yeah.
And of course, if you'd like to work with Kathalina, please do check out the package. There's a payment plan available, of course, and if you're an Inner Circle member, please do use your gift code. Right. So thank you so much, Kathalina. And today is July 2nd. So for those of you in the US, have a wonderful Independence Day, 4th of July. Celebrate, of course, but stay safe. Right. So stay safe, enjoy, and have fun. Right.
Great.
So thank you so much, everyone, for all your questions, comments, feedback, all your comments in the chat. Thank you. Thank you so much, Kathalina. Like always, wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And until next time, everyone, we actually will be back on Thursday. We do have a show on Thursday morning at 10, so I'll see you then. But until next time, may you continue to be blessed with an abundance of joy, peace, love, happiness, prosperity, and radiant health. Sending you all so much love and blessings always.
Beautiful.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Enjoy the warmth, Kathalina.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.